All right, so we restarted. It didn't seem like it was working right, so we'll figure it out. I'll know if the numbers are the same, then I was wrong. Pretty simple. But what like going into 2025, that like I really sort of hate New Year's resolutions. I hate that idea of being told, this is a thing, so we should do this kind of thing. But fuck it, like the last time I said this, the last time I did this was 2020, and boy did that change my life. 2020 I said I'm no longer going to focus on chemtrails and the V things that poke ya and you know Hollywood and all those things. I'm not going to focus on those nearly as much, and I'm going to make the J's my number one focus. And I flat out said that my new mission statement is going to be we need to cut off Israel and use that money to create proper pedo hunter groups here in the States and then branch out obviously everywhere. And just 3.8 billion dollars a year is a lot of money. And I think we could really use that money to eliminate pedos. And so this year I really just want to start like let's just be honest. Let's be honest with each other. If you think it's going to hurt my feelings, it's okay, say it. Or whoever's feelings. If you think it's going to hurt their feelings, I mean, don't be malicious about things, for sure. But be honest. If your girl says, does this dress make me look fat? Be like, well, it's not the best looking dress you have. Honestly, yeah, sweetheart. You know what? It's not the dress. And I think we can both stand to lose a couple pounds. Let's work out a little bit. Let's try to fit you in that dress. And I want to fit in some other stuff myself. I'm feeling a little out of shape myself. And like, let's try to be better. Because I don't get it, man. Am I really to believe that the chicks that the dress makes them look fat and they go out in public and we all sit there and look and we're like, holy shit, they don't see that? They don't, like, as an attractive woman, when you were in your 20s, and you were all dolled up and you would go, did you notice everybody staring at you? Or were you just oblivious?
There would be times. Like, there would be times.
And you'd notice it though.
I mean, they'd like, especially for things like the holiday party, the work holiday party, where people don't see you necessarily, like they see you in a suit and shit, but you come out in some fucking really killer evening gown and some gorgeous heels and shit. Heads turn, rooms stop.
Well, that's what I mean. So, like,
But not always. I don't always notice it.
right, but you still, like, when you stand out, you notice it. I know I notice that everywhere I go. So one time, my friend Sarah and I were at Meyer, and we're walking through Meyer, and at one point she goes, "Why does everybody look at you?" And I said, "I don't know. I just thought that's what happened.
Right.
I just
People
thought,
look at you, you make eye contact, you smile, you keep moving.
no, not like that. That wasn't what she was saying. She was like, I don't know, it's weird. Everywhere we go, people look at you. And that doesn't happen with me." And I was like, I just thought that's how it works for everybody. And she was like, no, that's what it is. Like, there's something else going on. And I thought, maybe it's just because I look different. I look different, and at the same time, everybody thinks they know me because I look kind of like somebody they know, I guess. Or maybe they met at some point. I don't really know. Happy New Year as well, Dry Bones.
You're tall, handsome, and you have a very big energy about you, a big presence.
Well, Still, but that's what I'm
That
saying.
turns
There's
us.
something that right, as somebody that stands out, I notice it. So as a woman who, you've squeezed, you've put on a dress that you had to ask someone, like you put someone in a position. You basically put your man in a horrible. You wouldn't ask if
You
you
already
knew you
know
looked
that
good
it.
in that dress. You wouldn't. You'd come out in that dress like, bam, check me out. You wouldn't walk out and be like, does this make me look fat? You know you look fat.
If that's the question that you ask, then you already know you look fat, and you're just hoping somebody will be nice so you can convince yourself
But
that
that's
they.
what I'm saying. What's the point of that?
Right.
Because then you go out and everybody looks at you like, why the fuck is she wearing that dress?
She looks fat in that dress.
Hey, shouldn't we be past that kind of like insecurity, superficial bullshit? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I just don't you feel uncomfortable. That's all. I mean, shouldn't.
Well, and as somebody that has been put in that position just by friends, um, which you still don't want to hurt their feelings, but you got to read the room. Like if they're like, "Hey, how's this look?" Like you can tell they feel good, and they do ask you, "Do I look fat in it though?" Read the room. If they're already not feeling good, you can tell, and then you tell them, you know what, it's
But
not as
that
flattering as maybe something else would be,
I
you
just
know.
think again, we as people just need to be like, look, man.
But if you see they're feeling good, fucking let them feel good.
Yeah, there's that. But that's what I mean. But then they go out and don't they? As you're out, you might be feeling good, but as you're out, you start like,
No, because there's this thing that, first of all, girls are gonna hate on you no matter what. So
no.
you can construe it as they're not hating on me because I'm fat. They're hating on me because I look better than they do.
Yeah,
And
but
that's
you're gonna see people laughing. Giggling is the thing I would have. I don't know. You have to. Then you would have. You're saying you lie to yourself. It's all about lying to yourself.
it, well, because the fucking 400-pound woman going out in spandex 3 sizes too small for her, and then a tight, like, leopard print
She's getting
leotard looking
laid.
top with all of the lumps everywhere. You can't even, you have nowhere to look because everything is moving. She thinks she looks good.
She
She knows she's
can't.
fat,
No,
but
see,
she's like, I'm fat and beautiful.
but you're not, and you know you're not because I always say if I had the magic wand and I could wave it over you and say, all right, you could have not this body or this body, you're 100% of the time gonna pick not this body.
But then there's like my ex mother in law was a very large woman, probably close to 400 pounds, maybe even all of 400 pounds. But she didn't dress like that. She actually dressed very classy. Yes, she was as big as a house, but she
But she
wore it
shouldn't be as big
well,
as a house.
you
The
know.
problem is we're
Oh,
as big
yeah,
as a
no,
house.
no.
That's the problem I'm talking about. That's the thing that needs to be addressed. Yeah, well, you can cover it up. Well, no, stop being as big as a
She
house.
went through all that converting shit just to be still treated like a servant. She had issues.
Of course, I would imagine it was really hard for her.
Lots of issues. And her first husband killed himself, so she didn't even have a dad to help with the first 2 kids that the new husband wants nothing to do. Even though they converted.
Yeah, well, you know what? And whether she was attracted to the man or any of it, you know what? She lived a great fucking life because of it. Well, a secure life. She was secure. She didn't live a great life. She was secure.
He's dead now, so I'm sure she's happy. But um, it all goes back to, people wouldn't necessarily be like that if we had better mental health programs and care.
Exactly.
Made
But we
got
also
so
have
fucking hard, so many people weren't so stressed out they're depressed and start taking drugs. Didn't have doctors shoving drugs down their throat for every little fucking thing. Like it's a
well,
whole big.
I think obesity, I think obesity is one of those things that we don't really look at honestly, right? Like, anytime you get one of those morbidly obese people who talks about, the food makes me feel better. Well, yeah, no, no, there's not, you don't have, like, Like
That's a
drugs,
psychological thing that starts from infancy, though.
but
Like,
drugs release chemicals in your body that make you go in that kind of state. Food doesn't do that to you. So you can't say that that's what that is. You know, a lot of the obesity stuff has to do with just flat out laziness and catering to. You know, the
it was
nobody tells
not
you no kind of thing.
when we were little to come across a morbidly obese person.
There was
And
always
mind
like
you,
one. There was always like one fat kid that had
maybe,
his t-shirt on at the pool. Remember, there was always like one, but that was and he stood out. And he had his t-shirt on. He'd be the one kid that swam in a t-shirt.
and that
Or
kid
if he did
usually
take it
had
off,
like a serious health issue that created that situation, you know. But nowadays, the obesity rate is fucking ridiculous.
but this comes down to again, let's have the honest conversation. The honest conversation is
Don't tell your kids no.
that but our food is fucking poison.
Yep. Depleted of nutrients,
We have allowed
packed full
them
of
to serve
toxins.
us poison. Just something as stupid as Fruit Loops, right? Fruit Loops here in the States compared to Fruit Loops in Canada. There's the Fruit Loops in Canada aren't as vibrantly colored and sort of dull looking, but they're also flavored with juice, fruit juice.
Yeah.
They're not flavored with number nines and all that shit. And they taste like significantly better. We would enjoy them more.
It would be more expensive to make.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. The cost is the people in Canada aren't paying way more for Fruit Loops than we are.
Oh no, it would cut into the profit margins.
It wouldn't. I think a lot of that shit is just bullshit. I think we have to have that honest conversation and say, look, they are poisoning us. They know that shit is poison. They have been giving us this poison. Like it's my dumb ass doesn't know it and the government doesn't. We know that they're poisoning us. Why are we letting them poison us? Why aren't we as a whole stepping up and saying, you know, we're not doing this anymore? Like why is all this okay? I mean, it just it's across the board. You know, they're gonna hit us with another COVID shit. It's coming. With Trump comes COVID. They need something to be able to distract the people because he's just so stupid. But like, why are we gonna let that happen again? I just don't. I don't really get it all. I feel like some kind of weird fucking alien on this planet because I just don't understand why so many of us allow so few of them to negatively affect us. You know, we're not living these great lives. You know, there are so many people out there that have the big nice house, have the nice car, you know, have no financial worries, and they go to the shrink every,
They're
you know, three
miserable.
times a week. Then they take all kinds of drugs
Kim
and
took so much shit.
right.
So much shit.
Her pussy was probably dry as could be. Like it's it's just weird. Like it's not the illusion isn't real and we all fucking hate it. We really do hate it. I don't understand why we like why would you continue to believe in your church religious stuff but let you down and take from you and show horrible things? I mean, if you're praying about you know, all sorts of things in your life, there's bound to be some overlap where sometimes things that you prayed about come true. That doesn't mean your prayers made it happen. And
Jesus.
if you're honest, you'll say, okay, well, let me just take stock. How many things did I pray about that didn't come true?
Oh, glory to God. Must have paid him enough that month.
I mean, it I just struggle with this. I really, I don't understand why so many people are willing to be, so second class. I mean, when you look at those Muslim countries, right? You have these kings and these royal families who just, like, they're so rich that they leave supercar. They go to some place like London and they'll buy a supercar, and it would cost them more money and effort to ship that car back. Plus, they have a zillion of them back home anyway, that they'll just abandon it.
The guy that Lindsay, the one that went to Silver Lake with us, with the boys and I.
Oh yeah.
She lives in Florida. She was going to work for that guy. That guy owned a company. He had a boat, like a tugboat type thing, and he would go from port to port because inevitably he would find an abandoned yacht, like several $1 million yacht, because they'll just park it on shore, they'll get off, and they leave it there for the same fucking reason. It's going to cost them. They don't feel like sailing that long. They're going to get on a jet and go home instead.
They don't care.
Whatever.
They
don't give it. So that's his job. He picks them up. He finds the rightful owner. He tracks. He goes to them and says, will you sign it over? Sometimes they'll ask him for, something, but usually they're just like, yeah, here. So now he's the rightful owner. He fixes it and he sells it. That's his job.
Fixes it. Doesn't even have to fix it for the most part. Maybe has to clean it up.
Whatever.
But why would so many Muslim people, stop their lives 5, 6 times a day, whatever it is?
They close the
5 times.
gas station.
Right. They stop making money. They lose business because of it. For a God that, like you see these videos of these guys, these high level Muslims riding around with machine guns in the desert, just shooting machine guns off in the air and just doing whatever the fuck they want to do. There's no women anywhere, because the women live pretty horrible lives comparatively. And then you think, like, right, like, why would anybody want? How could you be tricked into the God aspect of it like that?
We check the water too with the air jokes.
How does that work? How do you? It's snowing.
No way.
Oh, there's her. Turning off the light. Move.